Am I the a-hole for ruining my boyfriend's birthday party? My boyfriend just turned 30 on Wednesday and had a big party to celebrate it. I hadn't been feeling well the last couple of weeks leading up to it, but I was determined to make his birthday a great one. Due to my job and financial reasons, I haven't been able to take many days off, so I scheduled a doctor's appointment the morning of his birthday so I could celebrate in the evening. I found out I was pregnant during the appointment and was ecstatic. We've been trying for a baby for 6 years, and I thought this would be the perfect present for him. When I got home, there were a few people already there for the party. I asked my boyfriend if we could speak in private, and he ignored me. I asked again, and he told me that if it was so important, I could wait 5 minutes while he talked to his friend. So I just told him. He got extremely mad and started yelling in my face about how I was trying to ruin his day, and that today was supposed to be about him and not me. He told all the people there to leave and messaged everybody else to not come because I ruined the day. He then stormed out the house and still hasn't come back. I'm still so shocked and confused. He was so excited to try for a baby, but his reaction made no sense. My mom said that while it is a great surprise, I probably should have waited as it was his day. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole at all. Good luck raising 2 children. Sounds like only one of you were trying hard to get pregnant the past 6 years. Me and my wife tried for 2 years, and the feeling of negative results sucked month after month. So I can't even imagine 6 years. Agree with the comments here, I wouldn't want a kid with this guy. He could have done a handful of things to make conceiving harder, and he probably doesn't even want a kid. One has to wonder with his response, if he's not been perhaps deliberately feeding birth control or something, and gaslighting to making her think they were trying. Possible. I've seen similar. Only because his disappointment clearly shows it's the last thing he wanted to hear. Birthday was likely a convenient excuse to cover his anger. Not an a-hole. First, he ruined his own birthday by being an a-hole. Second, are you sure you want a kid with this guy? I'm not sure what the rest of your relationship is like, but he shouted at you after you told him you were pregnant and after you'd been sick for a couple weeks. That's a red flag. I'm still trying to figure out why. If she hadn't been feeling well for a few weeks and they've been trying to have a baby for 6 years, she didn't take a pregnancy test at home 2 weeks ago? And while his reaction is way out of line and this whole thing is 98% him being an a-hole, I do think she gets 2% of an a-hole responsibility here for not being able to wait 5 minutes. She just walked in the room. What if the friend was telling him about getting divorced, or losing his job, or whatever? Guy wanted to be able to finish the conversation he was having with his friend, so he could then give OP his full attention. Obviously, that doesn't justify his reaction, which was seriously worrying. I mean, I don't understand why he couldn't just wait, but his reaction is so over the top. I understand. I was really excited, and my boyfriend constantly dismisses me about things I get excited about because he finds them mundane or stupid, so I knew I would have to wait probably hours to tell him. In this case, why is he your boyfriend? Next story. Am I the a-hole for not attending my daughter's gender reveal for her lizard? This is literally really stupid, but she's really upset about it. So my 48 daughter 23 has a blue-tongued skink who she heavily adores. She jokingly refers to it as her daughter. I found it weird, but she says it's because it's the closest thing she'd have to a child, and she feels a strong emotional bond similar to a child. She has decided to remain child-free for multiple reasons, and I have been very supportive of this decision. Well, she recently took her skink to the vet for a checkup, and she was excited to find out her skink's gender. Afterwards, I got a text asking if I'd come to her gender reveal party she was having. She explained it was just a small get-together with cake and food for her friends she hasn't seen in a while, with the gender reveal being mostly a joke, and a way to make fun of real gender reveals. Well, I didn't come. I didn't see a point. It's just a lizard, and I'm a busy person. She later called me and expressed she was kind of sad I didn't come, because it had been a while since I'd seen her, but she understood I was busy. I told her she couldn't actually expect me to come to a gender reveal of a lizard. She said that it wasn't a real gender reveal. That was more of a joke, and it was really just a small gathering to catch up with everyone. I told her if that was the case, she should have just called it a gathering, because I'm not coming to a gender reveal unless it's for a real granddaughter. She got quiet for a minute, and then turned my words around, claiming I wasn't supportive of her decision to be child-free. I told her she can't possibly expect me to treat a lizard as a granddaughter. She said she didn't expect me to, but it was clear I didn't expect her bond with her lizard and her decision, and she just wanted to see me and my reason for coming was hurtful. I told her she was being ridiculous over a lizard. She claimed it wasn't over the lizard, and it was a gathering and not even centered around a lizard, but I stuck by to what I said. It's ridiculous to have a gender reveal for a lizard. She hung up, and I got a message from her best friend about how I'm an a-hole for treating her that way. But I don't think I'm the a-hole for not wanting to go to a party for a lizard. You're the a-hole. That's your grand lizard. It was obviously not just the gender reveal and your daughter just wanted to see you. Really hope daughter names grand lizard after Opie, regardless of gender. So many social media posts to look forward to. You're the a-hole. Your daughter sounds cool though. Right? I'd totally go to a lizard gender reveal. That sounds hilarious. I told her if that was the case, she should have just called it a gathering. She did. She told you it was a small get-together to see people she hadn't seen in a while, with the gender reveal being a joke. Your daughter wanted to see you, and you refused because your fifis got hurt over a silly joke. You don't have a granddaughter, and if you carry on acting like this, you won't have a daughter for much longer either. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not being sorry that I didn't believe my daughter's knee was hurting? I have a 15-year-old daughter and my husband is currently out of town. I have a lot of projects that need to be done in my yard and I really needed her help. And Friday, she told me her knee was hurting after her run, and she was limping. I told her, it's funny how your body always seems to malfunction when I need your help. You can't just stay in bed all day if you want. Because it's true. She has a history of feigning ailments in order to get out of things she doesn't want to do. She hasn't done it much since she was around 9. But I still have trouble trusting her when she says something is wrong. She said she would help me, and I told her we could take her to the emergency room if her knee still hurts by the time the yard work was done. We worked the whole weekend, and she complained a lot, but I was almost certain that she would magically be better by the end of the weekend. This morning though, she said her knee was hurting badly and she could hardly walk, so I took her to the emergency room. It turns out she sprained her knee. I had told her to tell them that it only started hurting today, but she said it started hurting Friday, and I was questioned. Fortunately, nothing bad happened, but they said that due to how much she's had to use her knee after it was injured, it will take longer to recover. I decided to keep her home from school today, because I don't necessarily want her telling people that I had her doing work when she told me her knee hurt. They wouldn't be getting the full story or context, and she has a tendency to exaggerate when I do something wrong. I do feel slightly guilty, but I told her that this wouldn't have gotten to the point it did had she not had this history of lying. She's pissed at me. She told me that she was in a terrible pain all weekend and that she couldn't believe I didn't trust her. She doesn't seem very interested in talking to me, but I feel like this is partially her fault for creating a situation in which I couldn't trust her. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to apologize? Now for the comments. You're the a-hole. 1,000,000%. The full story she'd been telling is that you made an awful assumption about her, forced her to go an entire weekend without necessary medical care, and that you tried to get her to lie to cover up your negligence. All because when she was a literal child 6 years ago, she had issues with lying. Yeah, I can see why I don't want that getting out. Edited to add. Also, you suck for pretending to be so freaking morally outraged at your daughter lying to you in years past, which is, actually pretty developmentally normal for kids to do. But then asking her to lie for you to the doctors? Gross. Clearly you're fine with it when it benefits you. Opie is lying and getting her kid to lie because she knows her behavior would be perceived as child mistreatment. Because it is. And because she knows that school and hospital employees are mandatory reporters. She's a real peach. You're the a-hole. ×2. What you did by ignoring her was wrong as you could tell there was something wrong. And then you ask her to lie to cover your butt for the first one. No bueno. ×3. She then proceeded to keep her daughter home from school because she's worried her daughter will make her look bad. You're the a-hole, dude. You know you are since you wanted her to lie about it. And she used to fake sick when she was 9? It's been 6 years. If you are the kid writing in the perspective of the parent, know that the parent is the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be there for my sister? My sister is being bullied in school. She's 15 and one of the girls a grade above me, I'm 16, started bullying her a few months ago. My parents were upset to learn I have shown no support or loving big sister energy toward her. But honestly, I don't feel bad for her. She's essentially been my bully for years. Ever since she was 7, she has lied to get me into trouble, made up so much crap to start trouble. Not just with our parents, she did in school too, with kids and teachers. The worst lie, or I guess the lie that could have had the most consequences, was last year when we were remote learning and I had a math test. She lied and said I cheated and was looking up the answers and had someone else give me their answers. It wasn't true. But not only did she use my laptop to email my teacher that, she told our parents. I had to retake the test with my parents watching, and it showed I hadn't cheated. But she didn't let it drop even when she was grounded, and my math teacher never looked at me the same way since. Other examples of lies: telling one of the girls in my grade who had serious mental health issues that I was mocking her during my birthday party, and that I invited her to try to humiliate her. Writing a note about my teacher and claiming it was mine and even showing it to the teacher. Telling our parents that I called her names when I hadn't. Making up a story about me forcing my sister to stand away from me and our cousins in a grass area full of ivy, and only my cousins knew it wasn't true. I was screwed. She also told some of her friends that I crap on the bed every night. I think her most recent lie was to some kids in school that I was responsible for the cyber harassing one of them was dealing with. I blame my parents for a lot of it, but honestly, I stopped loving her because of this. I no longer care what happens with her. She has done everything to make my life hell. And while my parents should be doing more and should have stopped believing anything she says about me years ago, it doesn't change how I feel about her. So I told my parents I would not be there for her. And that as far as I'm concerned, she's on her own in school unless her friends want to be there for her. I'm a deep mess because of this. Am I the a-hole? No judgments are appropriate here. The two of you are 15 and 16, in what appears to be a deeply dysfunctional household. If your sister is doing all you say, she needs professional help. What else is going on in the house? How are your parents? I would encourage you to support your sister, but also recognize that how the two of you are living isn't normal. If there's more to this story than you're telling here, please approach an adult at school who you trust. Our parents are pretty normal. My biggest issue with them is how often they believe what my sister says even with the track record she has. You should start recording her behavior so you can show them how vile she really is, and how stupid they are for always believing her. Not stay home. Your sister is awful, and your parents are responsible for raising that little monster. I agree. They should have done something a lot sooner. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom and sister to stop doing background checks for every girl I date? I'm a guy in my early 20s. I have never been in a committed relationship. Just few dating situations left and right, but nothing serious. I'm the kind of guy who won't bring a girl home to meet my family unless I'm serious with them. But I do post pictures with my dates or my female friends in social media occasionally. I've noticed a pattern where my sister and my mom will do background checks on every girl I post with on pictures. One of my dates was finishing law school. Never mentioned that to anyone. It was just said on our one single date. Next few days, my mom asked me about that lawyer girl that I'm seeing. I was confused because I hadn't mentioned anything to anyone, and it was one single date with this girl. Never saw her again. Apparently, my mom got my sister to do a background check on a girl. That happened with other girls I was either on a date with or simply hanging out as friends. At some point, I stopped posting my female friends or my dates so I could avoid this. The past 5 months, I've been seeing this girl and we actually made our relationship official. I'm really seeing a future with her like with nobody else before. We met at her job, which was at a strip club. She used to work there as a stripper, but she stopped doing that work and is now working there as a bartender. I hadn't mentioned anything to my family for obvious reasons, but since we were pretty serious, I wanted her to meet my family. My mom adored her, and my sister was amazed by her sense of humor and style. I was pretty relieved they had a good impression of her. Not a few days had passed, and I got a call from my mom telling me that she needs to speak to me immediately. As soon as I went to the house, they showed me pictures of my girlfriend on a pole from her old career path, and several NSFW pictures she had in social. They thought I didn't know, and they were trying to expose her to me. I told them that I knew all along, and that I don't mind. I also told them that it's invasive to do background checks on every woman I breathe close to. Then they got mad when I told them to stop doing background checks because we were just trying to help you and now you blame us? Sorry, we care about you and we didn't want you to get hurt, and that's what we get for caring. I get that they probably come from a good place and have good intentions of actually helping me. But am I the a-hole for telling them to stop with investigations? Not the a-hole. Also, what the heck? What the heck indeed. But I also want to know. Info. OP, are these background checks social media stalking and Googling? Or are they paying private eyes? Or what? How are they getting this info? It's all helishly insane and controlling, but this affects what level? Not the a-hole. And dude, that isn't even background checks. That's straight up stalking. Keep the girl, get rid of the helicopter family. Exactly. A background check is to establish criminal background. They're just Facebook stalking. All it's going to do is push women away. Not the a-hole, and what they're doing is gross and invasive. Not only is it fine that you said something, you should keep saying something and call them out. You're a grown man and can make your own choices. Shame on them for prying into the lives of every woman you so much as exist near. Not the a-hole. And if I found out my partner's family did this behind his back and he was still in contact with them, we'd be done. There is no good place or good intentions here. There is controlling, manipulative, and insane here. You're not being ungrateful. You're enforcing a boundary with two people who clearly do not understand the concept of privacy, boundaries, and minding their own business.